Alright, people, you know me there right now, and we have a couple breaking news. First thing, the situation with Mr. Paul Buchanan and Andrew Holness. We have some update, and finally I see the article myself. I missed it, but we're gonna go through it. Secondly, Andrew Holness gone and left Jamaica in a time like this and fly out for G20, whatever. We're gonna talk about that too. Before we go into the G20, let's go to the situation. This title is called Ballot Riff. See? See there? Ballot Riff. And we have Paul Buchanan and Jonas with the finger, right? Boom. See? It says the Supreme Court is expected to rule next month on the case filed by Paul Buchanan against constituted authority which rejects his bid to have the St. Andrew West Central General Election declared void. Justice Sonia Wintblower set to deliver her judgment on December 8th. Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you why December 8th is important. Because Apostle Jeffrey Shuttleworth said that after count from October 28th to 40 days from then would be December 7th. How ironic it is that Andrew Holness' case with Paul Buchanan is going to be a judgment will be delivered on December 8th. Now, ladies and gentlemen, following Tuesday's judicial review, tell us God now sleeping up. Following judicial review of the authority decision, Buchanan, the People's National Party candidate on September 3rd election, is seeking several orders through his attorney, Hugh Wildman. These include declaration that the authority refusal to act on his complaints was unlawful, irrational, and void, an order of certiorari to overturn the ruling, and an order of mandamus directing the authority to refer the matter to the election court. Buchanan a land economist, claims the election won by People's National, the Prime Minister Andrew Holness of the Jamaica Labour Party, was tainted by irregularities such as double voting, voter intimidation, ballot box tampering. He argues that these allegations are supported by sworn affidavits submitted to the constituted court. Marshall Powell, a cluster manager at Seaward Primary School, alleged that there are instances of double voting. She said she saw a presiding officer issue a second ballot to an elector after they claimed that the first was spoiled, even though the first ballot had already been placed in the box. Mighty God. She also claimed that the atmosphere at the Seaward primary cluster was not one of free from fear, and that PMP indoor and outdoor agents were harassed and threatened. She added that overcrowding by JLP supporters made it unsafe for non-JLP voters, and mentioned that the presiding officer was unable to control the polling station, leading to the overcrowding, threats, and fearful environment. Powell alleged that at one point there was a brawl involving presiding officer, a JLP indoor agent, and the police. Added to that, she said a policeman monitoring the gate left at 5 p.m., after which persons were allowed to enter the compound as they pleased. She also charged that unauthorized men climbed over the wall and invaded the polling station, causing chaos and making her fear for her safety. She said counting stopped due to the chaos and the ballot boxes were left unattended and unaccounted for. The boxes arrived at the counting center at 10 p.m. Powell alleged 5 hours after polling station was closed. In a second affidavit, Everton Sands, a driver runner for polling divisions 1 to 4, claimed that the police escorting the ballot box for Jewsland Avenue cluster deviated from the approved Kura route, driving through JLP dominated and hostile crowds. Mighty God. The approved route was reportedly Washington Boulevard and Mullines Road to Seaview Avenue to Bay Farm Road and to Walton Park and Counting Center. Sands claimed to have lost sight of the vehicle transporting the ballot box along Olympic Way for 3 to 5 minutes. How much things can happen in 3 to 5 minutes? This is not safe. A third affidavit from Dr. Warren Blake, campaign advisor to Buchanan, claimed that several locations, including the Olympic Gardens Health Center and Seaview Primary, he observed the large disorderly crowds of JLP supporters making noise, drinking, playing loud music, and behaving in a boisterous manner. If you don't know, that is against the actual proceedings, right? Blake, who ran against Holness in the 1997 general election, subsequently lost a court-order re-election, said the atmosphere at the Seaward Primary and Trinitarian Basic School was very intimidating. He argued that he did not feel safe to stop and speak to the outdoor agent. Medical doctor said JLP supporters and Trinitarian Basic School appeared to have taken over the place and were acting menacingly. Wow. Blake said he believed that the noise, crowd, and general atmosphere would have discouraged non-JLP voters, leading to a substantial distortion and or submersion of the process of free and fair elections. Indoor agent Itisha Johnson, in another affidavit, said conditions inside her polling division were chaotic and noisy, with line jumping arguments and voters leaving without casting ballots. She recounted seeing JLP supporters wearing black ski masks as she exited the compound and leaving her frightened. Avia Myers, another indoor agent at Seaward Primary, why Seaward, everything at my Seaward, claimed that the supervised voting occurred. Supervised voting. She said she saw a voter who had returned from the voting booth with their ballots open and ballot open and blank. The presiding officer told him to mark the ballot and went behind the voting booth with the voter to show him what to do, which happened more than once. No, the officer then assisted other voters and placed their ballots in the box, she alleged. Mighty God. Miles further alleged that the electronic voter identified system, that is the EVIS, malfunctioned on the day, and so she was unable to verify the identity of people who did not have their voter identification card, but were on the voters list. The woman also alleged that during counting, the presiding officer indicated that she was feeling ill and left without returning. Miles said she was asked to count ballots for a polling division, even though the counting for the previous division was not done properly. She also claimed that she was not allowed to put her sticker on the box and that a JLP sticker was put on it instead. Wow, the 5 affidavits were submitted along with Buchanan as part of the evidence in the matter now before the Supreme Court. Buchanan agreed that the authority misinterpreted Buchanan argued that the authority misinterpreted key evidence, including Paul's affidavit, which he said outlined multiple acts of double voting rather than a single incident. He contends that the authority wrongly assumed the role of the election court by assessing the standard of proof instead of simply determining whether the sufficient evidence existed to warrant a referral. However, in the in a November 4 affidavit, retired Justice Ferdinand Smith, chairman of the constituted authority, said the body acted rationally and fairly, maintained a neutrality, and properly applied relevant case law. He urged the Supreme Court not to grant Buchanan's request. In its October 1st decision, the authority said Buchanan relied on Section 37E of the Election Petition Act, which deals with violence or irregularities capable of distorting or subverting the process of free and fair election. It concluded, however, that the evidence presented did not meet the threshold required under the statute. Holness won the seat, 7,054 votes to Buchanan, 4,953. The margin prompted public debate because Holness had been trailing by nearly 100 votes after 87 of the ballots of 105 ballot boxes were counted. The remaining 18 boxes, which shifted the outcome, came from polling station Seaward Garden Primary and Infant School, according to the Director of Elections. Ladies and gentlemen, bangarang. Tell me what you think. December 8th, we shall see the verdict. Now, I'm not going to say much about that, you know. All I know is God is in control here. Andrew Holness, God knows what to do with you. Anyway, London 45, what you say now?
Make a news flash, guys. Come here, please. Come here, please. Labrats, you come in the front. Come in the front, Labrats. Guys, your Prime Minister gone to South Africa. Yes. Labrats, your Prime Minister gone to South Africa.
Right.
In a time like now,
Really?
when the Jamaican people need him more than ever. Yes, him gone to South Africa.
Really?
Yes. And not just that, is him and Bigfoot and him two daughter them. So
No. We don't want you to slander the Prime Minister like that. Me confirm say Prime Minister they are South Africa, but don't tell me say him two children them. Right? And him wife gone with him. No, this not sound good. If this is true, Lord God.
it got to be a family trip. It got to be a vacation because it could never be government business. Because at the end of the day, him two daughter, them not in a parliament, them not in a government. So how him two daughter and Bigfoot gone with them? No man, Jamaica, this gets serious. Labrats, y'all hear me, eh? Y'all Prime Minister leave to South Africa. Yes. He and Bigfoot and their two daughters. Oh yes. And tax dollar pay for them. I'm sure some two daughter them don't in a government. So we need to talk about that. And you know who him leave in charge? Rockabye baby on the treetop. Orius Chang, Sleeping Beauty. Yes, I cannot believe this, man. I wonder if I run away, Mr. Holness, quietly run away, because I have to run away the man run away from Jamaica. There is no way it's possible for a man a prime minister, a leader, to leave the country in a delicate time like this when him people them need him. So look here, we're going to put out ASAP, put up the posters with the whole family. They are missing. I run with them runway. Them runway. News flash, Jamaica news flash, guys, come here.
No, ladies and gentlemen, Andrew Holness did go to South Africa, but I don't know about his wife and him picking it. I don't know about that. However, if they went, it's going to further compile my anger towards the situation. And I'm going to tell you why after I play the video. I'm going to tell you why I will be angry. Now, I'm going to play the speech. Big up Becker Talk Television. He played the part of Andrew Holness' speech actually at the G20 summit. And you know what? Let me just play it and then I give my thoughts. Let me just play it. Listen to this.
Not abstract. It is an existential threat. A single climate-driven event can erase decades of progress. Abstract. It is an existential threat. A single climate-driven event can erase decades of progress, destabilize public finances, and constrain development trajectories overnight. Disaster risk reduction is fundamental to our national survival. Recovery and reconstruction will be a formidable task, but Jamaica is not daunted. We are determined to rebuild stronger, more resilient, and more sustainably. We have already activated our multi-layer disaster risk financing framework to support immediate response and early recovery. However, the scale of the challenge far exceeds what small economies can shoulder alone. We will need your support. On behalf of the government and people of Jamaica, I extend deep appreciation to our international partners, some of whom are represented here today. Their assistance has been vital in our disaster response and relief efforts. The unprecedented strength of Hurricane Melissa following the wake of last year's Hurricane Beryl and other weather events. These ground our global call to action. The world must confront this crisis by urgently reducing emissions in line with the 1.5 degrees Celsius target. Failure to do so guarantees more frequent and more destructive storms for countries like Jamaica, which have made the economic sacrifices but have had them undone by exogenous climate factors. Resilience must also therefore be our guiding principle. Resilience is not ideology, it is practicality. Disasters impose undeniable economic costs. Investing in resilient infrastructure, diversified energy systems, and disaster preparedness is simply sound economics. Resilience is the bridge between climate ambition and fiscal prudence. It is where all nations can find common ground. We therefore call on G20 members to support climate finance at the level, scale, and concessionality required for vulnerable nations to survive and thrive. This includes financing to rebuild climate-resilient infrastructure, expand the risk transfer and disaster insurance instruments, strengthen agricultural and food systems, given the severe damage wrought on a sector central to jobs, food security, and rural livelihoods. Jamaica is doing its part. We are committed to a just energy transition and to achieving at least 50% renewable electricity generation by 2030. But as is the case with other small island developing states, attaining such targets requires partnerships, technology transfer, concessional financing, and capacity building from major economies. I close by encouraging us to build formidable partnerships that will strengthen our disaster resilience and accelerate the just transition to clean energy solutions for the benefit of our present and future generations. The climate crisis is not...
Now, ladies and gentlemen, I don't think that's the full thing.
President Ramaphosa, thank you for the kind invitation to part.
Alright, so it was about 7 minutes or 8 minutes of a speech. So Andrew Holness, first I want to ask you, and this is a very important thing, did you spend your own money to go to the G20 summit? Or did you spend our tax dollars? And if you spent our tax dollars, how much money did it cost to travel to the G20 summit? Now, I don't know if you carry your wife, I don't know if you carry your pitney, them. Did you carry your wife and your pitney, and who was there? What did the total trip cost? Can you see the value of that trip? That money, in my opinion, could be better used. There's several women and children and elderly and you know, disabled people that were homeless, that were, you know, left homeless after Hurricane Melissa. Going to the G20 summit with all these delegates, right? You could have sent Kamina Johnson-Smith a small, you know, not saying she should go there by herself, but I don't know, two bodyguards, whatever, right? To join her, and the speech that you actually spoke, she could have spoken it. You did not have to physically be there to give this speech. This speech sounds like certain aspects of it was copied from Mia Motley's speech at the UN in regards to climate change and all of that. Not saying that the information is not important, but my God, right? I heard the good brother Isaac Buchanan said that you said it's not the responsibility of the government to feed everybody. Well, what does that mean? That means the person that lost their house, lost everything. Oh yeah, man, wanna go feed on yourself, man. Find food. I don't know how to work right now, right? And all of these things, but you should be allowed to take up our tax dollars to go all the way of South Africa. If you sit down and talk for 8 minutes, how much did that cost us? How much did it cost us for that trip? And again, are we getting value for money? Right? That money could be used for several different things. I don't know, like making sure that the people them get water, by making sure that you find the people them that are maroon. Have you visited the maroon towns yet? Have you visited any of the places damaged in St. Mary? But you have the time to run away all the way to South Africa? And then people tell me that, oh, we're being overly critical of the Prime Minister. Whatever he said there in that speech, somebody else could have said it. Excuse me. It did not require him to physically be there to spend more money. It didn't require that. You understand? And that's my take on it. I don't want this video to be very, very long. But let me tell you something. December 8th and all the days leading up to that, it's going to be more and more piled on Jamaica. And the next video I'm going to do, we're going to talk about the plagues that are hitting Jamaica on my next video. So look out for that. It's coming after this one. You understand? But let me know what you guys think in the comment section about what is going on with the Prime Minister. One, the court case with Mr. Paul Buchanan. And two, the situation with him allegedly going to South Africa, the G20 summit, with his wife, and he's picking them for our budget. If that is, even if him picking them never did it, I have a problem with that, with him going physically, because excuse me, this is a time when we need to save money and we need value for money, because he's pinching money to give out to the MPs, pinching money to give them to fix the situation in their community. How much money did it cost him to go to G20? We need to know. And we need to know now. They're talking about transparency. Well, not just talk about it. We need to know every move that the Prime Minister is making and how much it's going to cost our people. And that needs to be in the Constitution at some point. Total transparency. Alright? Man jump ship and gone and blows and skirt South Africa. Right? Crazy. Let me know what y'all think, man.